is that it seems to me like you want to, and I do this too. We all do this, right? So to be totally.
And we are back. It's midnight. Your Uber driver here. Quick update: $183.70 on Uber. And I can't tell you what's on Lyft right now, but I'll give you an update as soon as we arrive to this reservation. And that's where we're headed to now. We are 4 minutes away. It's at 3:30, so we'll be 20 minutes early, which is fine.
I guess it's technically a little bit, that's what I said, where like people should divorce the normativity from their like economic limbs or whatever.
Yeah, rhetoric, right?
Yeah, like when I'm saying somebody's fascist, I am trying to evoke, saying that they might call somebody a tanky or a socialist, I am trying to evoke some negative, like normative baggage there. That is the goal, because I don't think that like we shouldn't be okay. I would argue that we shouldn't be okay being hyper-nationalist authoritarians, like we've seen what that looks like in the past. I'm trying to evoke all of that feeling.
Yeah.
When I say that,
Okay. Well, so, I mean, Socrates said himself that rhetoric is anything which convinces external to logic. So
We are audio and video recording this ride for your safety.
whatever it is that is convincing for your worldview, that kind of sways people over to some nations other than this. But this doesn't really conform to Americanism, and I'm using the label because it really puts a negative light on Trump. Is that a fair assessment?
That is much less of a buddy, right? Much the same that I feel like expanding income retribution to such a level that it's hard to achieve economic prosperity as an individual in the United States is not good. It's easier to just be a communist or socialist, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, and to bring the loaded rhetoric with it, right? Like how you commie, right? That's very helpful. I agree. But it does contend. It's a bit contentious with the idea, though, of, like you said, normativity. So it doesn't seem like the purpose of it exactly is to necessarily fight against the idea of fascism, but more it's the idea to just kind of go after Trump because you don't like Trump, right?
Yeah, I guess to bring it back to 2 points I made. So one point I said earlier that there's tension between now. As I said earlier, when people discuss like these particular perspectives, they should be it should be dispassionate and unnormatively loaded, right? An authoritarian is an authoritarian, and democracy is not necessarily good or bad. It just depends, right? To do this, like, even if that was a purely logical statement, right? If I were to say Kamala wants to increase taxes on the top 1% to 99%, right? In that statement, even if it's not there explicitly, there's normativity baked into it. I'm arguing against her and I just wrote a policy, it's probably bad, right? Like if I was arguing with somebody and they were like, tell me, okay, talk to me, you don't like Trump, like tell me about Trump. And I'm like, Donald Trump had a rich father. Your assumption, like you would hear that as me saying, Donald Trump having a rich father is bad. And then if you were to say, well, wait, what's wrong with that? And I go, oh, nothing. I'm just like stating a fact about Trump. You'd be like, what the fuck? What do you mean you're stating a fact about Trump? Because we don't parse the language like a machine, right? We're in the context of the conversation. So going back to, so when I say analyze things like non-normatively, I'm talking about for like jerk off, like policy discussion, basically. But now to bring this back to the other point that's kind of intentional with Vosh, when I said, why are you calling Scalia or Bush a fascist? The issue that I had there is that I didn't care so much that he was calling them a fascist. What I cared about is that if we were to have a discussion on why he's calling them a fascist, he wouldn't be able to back that up. He wouldn't be able to justify that. That was my big issue. Like you can't just.
But aren't you at the same mercy of that? Like when you say Trump's a fascist, you also have to back that up. And if it's just kind of this well, there's these two pillars which I think all fascists have in common. I think even like third positionists would agree that those two pillars could exist. But then if you say, from a cultural relative or cultural pluralist position, I can see why other countries do that, and I don't even actually have a problem with it just here. You would kind of be at the same mercy Vosh was at, wouldn't you?
I don't think so, because I think that the conversation that you're talking about right now, and I'm just reiterating this for you and the audience because it sounds like I'm attacking it. I'm not. The discussion we would have would be one of semantics, where we'd be saying, like, well, what do we mean when we say fascist? But the conversation that I would be debating Vosh on would be one of substance, where Vosh would say, well, no, what Scalia is doing is ahistorical. It's like way too far away from what America should be. Like, we would have a debate on the substance of what does it mean to have American values and what does it mean to rule in ways that are congruent with American tradition. And I think that's what the debate would be, not just over whether or not I agree with his particular definition of fascism, right? Like, if I had a debate, like if we were
Thanks, Mixer. Happy Halloween to you.
What?
Well, wouldn't you guys have to agree on what that meant to even have that substantive debate?
We could, but if Vosh were to just say, it would really depend on the conversation. But like, this would be the same with you and me. If Vosh were to say, well, when I say fascist, I just mean he's conservative, then I would say, oh, well, I think that's that's a dumb way to define fascist. But okay, I probably agree with you, but that's just a dumb way to define it. Then we would have a semantics debate. But I think with Vosh, we would disagree on substance, I think.
Mm-hmm. Rather than the semantics. Okay, I think I understand that as well. Okay, well, I think we got a lot of that cleared up. Then a couple of questions I have for you since we're in the room. The first one is, what did you think of the Jubilee thing?
It was, it's what I'm used to at this point. Kind of wild, kind of wacky.
It was bizarre, wasn't it? Am I wrong, or was it bizarre? It was strange.
I mean, I feel like at this point I'm kind of used to crazy, wacky people, but it was pretty, yeah, like the two things I didn't like were, I mean, like I said, I don't like the personal attacks, but it's just like, it's kind of weird or whatever. But the thing that I didn't like the most was somebody would sit down, and I'd actually talked about this on stream before. It's like, I'm not going to let people just gish gallop and then get voted off and not respond. So I was trying to cut people off a little bit more. I think even in our conversation, I was trying to be a bit more like cutting you off or be aggressive because I didn't want you to say something, get voted off, and then I can't respond. But the thing is that some people, what they do is they would sit down and they would do like this whole rant at me, and then they would just get up before even being voted off. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, well, okay, so the next day after this was done, I was on stream because people were asking me about it. And just so you know, I don't know if you know this or not, and I want to know if you think that this is cheating, because this bothers me when progressives do this, right? But if people had an entire group put together of people who knew that they were going to debate you, and they all went in a group and they all assessed all of your talking points in order to collaborate for who's going to go when, who's going to say what, is that cheating to you? Do you consider that cheating?
So I'm going to be a huge outlier here, and I would say that in almost all circumstances, I would say probably, yeah, maybe it's not in the spirit of it.
Yeah.
I would say that
it's not in the spirit, right?
Yeah,
for sure.
It's not the spirit.
Yeah.
I would say for me personally, I want people to come with their strongest whatever. So if you think that like stacking the deck against me by having better people come up to debate points, I'm actually okay with that. But I would say that in most cases, that's probably cheating. Yeah, that's why.
Well, that's not what the idea is. The idea is to choreograph. When this argument's made, then that's when you move away, and that's when the next one comes up and hits you with this or this or this. That's, I think, beyond what you're talking about, which isn't just, here's Destiny's arguments, make sure you have good arguments when you show up. That's fine, right? Neither one of us would disagree, that's fine. But isn't the other, I mean, how's it in the spirit of it, man? It just seems like it's such slimeball behavior to me.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that, like if you came and you knew, because I leaked the prompts beforehand, which the producer got mad at me for doing. But my goal was that, like, well, listen, fuck it, people have good arguments.
But they told us the prompts beforehand, the producers.
When?
They gave us a list of what it was that your positions were going to be, or what your prompts were going to be.
Wait, when?
I think. Well, so I wasn't even supposed to be there, right? So I was out in Santa Barbara. I was shooting a whatever episode, and I got a call. Hey, if you're in the area, you want to come over and do this? And I said, yeah. And they didn't tell us who it was, but it was very obvious. It was clearly obvious that it was probably going to be you. But they did give us a listing of the prompts, of what the prompts were going to be, so that we.
Did they give you this like the day of, or was it released beforehand?
It was released beforehand to us.
Oh, weird. Okay, because when I went over them on stream, they emailed me and they were like, "Hey, like, don't leak this. Like, we're not supposed to tell anybody." And I was like, "Oh shit, I didn't realize that." Maybe I misinterpreted that. Maybe they just didn't want it leaked for the public then, and not.
Yeah, for us, we signed an NDA to not leak those. So it's possible that it was just supposed to be for the group, which I think that's fine. Like, we need to know what the hell we're debating.
Pickup scheduled for 3:30 p.m.
But I think it's a very different thing if there's like a collaboration. Because these groups know each other, and I don't know, it just seems slimy to me, that's all.
Sure. I mean, like, yeah, it would have been better if they were less, like, unhinged statements, but, I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, well, they were they just became shouting matches. They just became shouting matches, and so...
I mean, I don't even mind shouting matches, but I feel like, just, like, Like the one guy coming up and asking me, like, what's the penal code for the law? Or like the one guy that came up and he was like,
We're just waiting for this reservation. We're 20 minutes early, so.
The guy came up and he was like, would you say that, how can you say that MAGA wouldn't exist without disinformation? I was like, well, I mean, technically, I can't actually know that. Like, we're supposed to, you were there, you were sitting there, where she was like, I need you to make this prompt more spicy. Or she was telling me to make, like, the most divisive prompt. I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this one. And I was like, well, no, I can't say, would this definitively exist or not exist in all possible worlds? There's no way I can know that. And the guy's like, okay, I win. That Mika guy was like, okay, well.
Oh, yeah, that guy. You were like, well, yeah, if this was Philosophy 101. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That was, but, you know, the truth is because I was sitting behind the speaker, I couldn't hear a lot of what those guys were saying. Like, I actually couldn't hear it. From your perspective, you probably heard them fine. But for the audience, it was actually very difficult to hear what a lot of those guys said. So when I rewatched it today, I was like, oh, that's what that guy said. I couldn't hear half of it. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to get your take on that and see what you thought about the Jubilee thing. I think that it's sneaky to have like a coordination like that. Personally, like if it was a conservative in the chair, I would have called foul. That's all.
Sure.
You know. So.
We are audio and video recording this ride for your safety.
You know, it sometimes doesn't pay to be charitable, right? I mean, I'm admitting that was a bit snaky, but you know, I wasn't gonna participate in those groups anyway. But anyway, I appreciated the convo. Was there anything else you want to go over while I'm here? Since you're just fucking around the computer anyway.
I mean, unless you can think of anything, I'm just building.
Well, yeah, there's a couple other things that I wouldn't mind diving into. So we dove in to the idea of what's going to happen this coming election a little bit, but not much. Tim Pool has had multiple people on now who are predicting civil unrest post-election, regardless of the outcome, regardless of if it's Kamala or it's Trump. What do you think there? Do you think that there's a good possibility of this at this point?
I think that I feel like it's impossible to predict what's going to happen at any given point right now in the American election system. There's just like, we're moving in such a new environment, and it's like everything is so, like, we can't look to history to try to map on like what we think will happen. I have no fucking idea. Like, I've said the same about, like, people ask me, like, if Trump becomes president, what'll happen? Like, I fully believe that there is a world where Donald Trump becomes president and becomes like the most hyper authoritarian, fascist, whatever dictator in the world, and destroys American democracy. And I think there's a world where Trump becomes president and he's just like, fuck you, I got elected, I told you I could, like, eat shit, and he like resigns or just does nothing for 4 years except like jerk off in the White House. Like, I think both of those could happen. I truly have no idea. Like, I don't think that the problem too is that, like, the question, it's begging a lot of precondition. Something I've noticed that it happens in the media is people will like foment the conditions for a feeling to be there, and then when the feeling is there, they'll like cite the feeling like it's novel. So somebody will say something like, I'll give an example of both sides for fairness. Somebody will say something like, cops kill black people all the time. It's just like an epidemic in society. And then everybody will feel like, oh my God, cops are killing black people all the time. And then a conservative will say, well, hold on, it's like not happening anywhere near as much as you guys think it is. It's like 10 unarmed black people a year, not like 10,000. And then someone will say, okay, well, but look, people have these feelings, so there must be something wrong. And I was like, okay, well, people have the feelings because you said the thing, right? And I would make the same dialogue tree argument for election fraud. People feel like something happened in the election. Well, of course, you told them that for 4 years. Of course they have that feeling. So when somebody says, like, is there going to be civil unrest? I feel like a lot of it is going to come down to what happens leading up to the election or on the election. So if people keep saying that, like, ballot boxes are going to be rigged or something is going to happen, and then, you know, an election...
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, you mean?
Exactly,
basically?
Yeah, it literally is, yeah. You're manufacturing, like, pre the event, like, the feelings that people are going to have, and then acting surprised when people have the feelings.
Well, I was thinking there's a great argument that I often use, and I'll kind of use it here to see what you think about it. The idea of a third party ever becoming emergent, I think, is actually silly. So when I look at other countries that have any type of republic setting or democracy setting, there's always two main parties, just like here.
What's going on, CBL? How are you?
The reason that this occurs is because individually...
Currently waiting for reservation, but just parking in a better spot for them to see me.
They only have political power if we collectivize as blocks. We basically have to do this in order to move any agenda forward we want. Even at the local level, we have to do this. So I think we're essentially stuck with two parties, because if one party consolidates enough influence to actually push an agenda, then people who don't like it will have to then collectivize in equal numbers to oppose that agenda. So I don't think there's actually any way out of the two-party system. So I think we're stuck with polarization until breakdown, Destiny.
I mean, maybe, yeah. I mean, like, I think there's a whole bunch of, like, statistical artifacts, I don't know if you call them, that make it as well, that we have to be two parties. Like, the spoiler effect is a big one. Let's say that I slightly disagree with Trump, or slightly disagree with Kamala, and I make my own party. All I'm doing is entrenching the power.
I'm a robot.
Because now I've split the vote on my
It's funny you say that. There was this job that I interviewed for. It was a sales gig. And, like, literally, I'm just a machine. Like, I know it takes work ethic to accomplish that type of sales job. And the manager's like, yeah, I don't want to hire you because I'm not looking for someone that's just robotic. I was like, oh, okay, well, that's me. I'm robotic. I just get it done. I don't need to lower my standards or, you know, make certain expectations. I'm just going to do it. Like, that's just part of the job. You got to be ruthless. You got to be able to give up on everything else for things to make it work. Yeah, I'm a working robot. I will rest when I die.
Or there are a lot of people right now, maybe not you included, but there are a lot of people that might not be happy with Trump. But honestly, like, you might not like Trump, but you might even think that Trump, the insurrection was real and all that. But fuck, voting for a far left government, voting for Kamala, that's a tall order for like a principally conservative person. That's a really hard thing to do. So, but if there was a second conservative party to vote for, there's two good things that happen. One, you can still vote conservative, but you don't have to buy into the crazy conservative guy. I don't like him. But also, two, it might moderate the view of that crazy conservative guy a little bit, because now you'll lose a ton of people to the other conservative party. Same thing on the left. If there are two left parties, right? If you feel like your person's going too far left, well, they've got your vote no matter what, because you're not fucking voting conservative, not in the United States. But if there's a second left party, it gives people another option, and it forces people to moderate a bit. I feel like having four parties would help a lot, but who knows?
It could, but I guess the argument that I would make against this is if you take a single issue like abortion, one side
how's your day going, CBO?
Murdering babies, and the other one thinks that they're lunatics, right? It's actually pretty simple, right? One side literally believes you're murdering children, the other side thinks you're not. It's right. It's like, yeah. It breaks down to this: if one side gathers enough influence to then say, okay, we're going to push the agenda through to murder babies, then that's the rhetoric from the other side, right? Then it seems to me that necessarily
I paid no more than $4,000 last year.
In order to oppose, I think
it was like 3,700.
That believes in baby murder, right? So I don't see a way around it, because they would have to have enough influence to stop that agenda, which means it would have to equalize, right? So it would have to be at least.
I'm technically should be paying every quarter, but since I know our taxes aren't going anywhere beneficial, I purposely do monthly plans for my taxes, because since my tax money is not going to anything that's beneficial to the world or America specifically, I purposely opt out and do the least amount.
But that's just like part of our ongoing. That's part of our, like, it's just part of the thing, right? Like, the problem that you're talking about there's no. I don't think there's like a solution for.
I don't think there is, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there is. And so when I talk to the the third party voters, I think at the local level it can be done, right? Very local level, by the way. I'm not even talking at the state level, because that seems to be influenced by federal politics as well. But at your very local level, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
You will possibly have a breakdown this way, but I don't see how it can be done at the national.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
A single issue that a party proposes that has enough support would have to.
And I got a tax credit too for my Tesla last year.
Collectivize the power in the hands of a couple of blocks. I just really don't see a way around it.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest issues, something I used to talk about a lot. One of the biggest issues is we became, I guess you could argue there's a downside of globalism, or maybe a downside of actually the internet, is we became like a really big international or national community, to where you can exert, you know that locally you can exert a high degree of influence, right? Like, you have a much better chance of reaching an agreement with your wife than you do with your mayor, than you do with your governor, than you do with the president, right? But the problem is that the only thing that people are interested in right now, unfortunately, are the things that people have the least control over, right? Most people in the United States have a stronger opinion about AOC than they do about their local mayor. So, like, what kind of world is that? Like, how do you get people to feel like they're empowered to advocate for change and to have like control over their local politics when they don't know anything about their local
Nice.
politics? They're just obsessed with the national level that probably doesn't even really affect them as much as they think.
Yeah, I mean, vape is definitely gonna be here for a long, long time. A long time.
I don't even know if it can be addressed. Right? Some of this.
I know many people that don't smoke cigarettes anymore because they vape.
There just really isn't much that can be done.
Very smart to go into that.
Well, like for instance, let me give you an example. You have seen that there are tons and tons of women who say that they're going to vote for Kamala Harris because she's a woman, right? I mean, and that's their right to do it, right? They can vote for her because she's a woman. But they get really upset if people say, well, then I'm not going to vote for her because she's a woman. Even though this is essentially the same argument both ways, right? I'm going to do this based on this criteria. Well, then I'm not going to do it based on this criteria. But if that's all it takes to vote is just, you just are emotionally invested based on even the gender of the person, then I'm not so sure that this is a particularly solvable issue in that life.
We are audio and video recording this ride for your safety.
The solution that we're looking for isn't necessarily like a quote-unquote solution. What we're really just looking for is something that can hold the tension, right? Which I guess in an oddly poetic way is kind of like all of life, right? Like you're a composition of cells that are fighting to maintain their cellular structure inside of organelles, inside of organs, inside of a body that's fighting to maintain homeostasis against a chaotic outside world. And I mean, arguably, like governments and everything are the same, right? You're just, how do you control the tension in a way that allows you to move forward with as many different people as possible without everybody breaking apart or killing themselves? But I mean, at the end of the day, that's all you can do is just finding the way to best contain that, right? When there's too much tension, you get authoritarians, you get whatever, who have to like excise some of it. When there's too little tension because I guess you've just killed everybody, then I mean, like usually these states fail for other reasons too. But I mean, yeah, that's all. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, there's nothing that solves for every problem. It's just things that then contain the tension and make people happy enough.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of truth in that, though I think we come at it from very different angles. And then, I guess last thing, and then I'll get out of your hair and let's get back to building your studio. Are you willing to put a so I'm willing to put a bet against you for $1,000 that Trump loses if you're willing to put up $1,000 that he wins?
Well, my voting, that wouldn't make sense because I voted in favor of Kamala right
Right.
now.
Well, right. But this is the way we can predict what you think, who you think's going to win and who you think's going to lose.
I mean, I think Kamala's going to win. I think it's slightly in her favor, but I think she's going to win. So wouldn't I want to bet for Kamala?
Yeah, well, so I mean, I think Harris is going to win too.
Okay, well.
Yeah, that's annoying to me to have to say, but I think that there's a better than average chance that she's going to.
I mean, if you want them, so like I could give you, I can't do it right now. I could give you 2 to 1, and I can say, fine, I'll put $1,000 on Trump, and if I win, you can pay me $2,000, and if you win, I'll give you $1,000.
A double or nothing.
Well, I mean, we both think that Kamala's going to win. Then the only way that I would vote Trump is if you give me odds, right?
Yeah, I'll give you 2 to 1.
Sure. Although, or you could match that better, maybe 1.5 to 1. I don't know what the current markets are, but
yeah, we'll just do it. We'll just do a 2 to 1. So if Trump loses, you're paying out $2,000, and if Trump wins, I'm paying out 1. Is that correct?
If Trump loses,
I'm paying out 2. You're paying out 1.
Yeah, it would be that.
Yeah.
Sure. If
All
you
right.
want, we could, well, hold on.
Okay.
The only thing we would have to qualify, unfortunately, is what does it mean to win or lose?
Oh yeah. Fuck. I didn't think about that. Oh fuck.
Because what if it is the case that what if somebody wins, and because like, let's say somebody wins and they manage to block the vote in the House, and then somebody doesn't become president, and then did it count? Or what if somebody wins, but then let's say Trump or Kamala argues with the governors and they change their elector votes? How about this? If it's an ordinary process,
if it's if it's without significant aberrations, like okay, all right.
January 6th wouldn't count as a significant, like a delay of the certification of the vote wouldn't count. But like a change in elector votes after the certification date.
That's gonna count. Yeah, that's gonna count. All right. We got a 2 to 1. Sounds good, Destiny. I'll let you get out of here.
Hey Tim, how are you?
hope I don't. I don't lose $2,000 in the Cooper, bro. That's gonna suck. So I'm gonna have to go in the chat and be like, okay, guys. Guys, I lost the bet. Can you help
Are you
me
checking
out,
in your luggage?
guys? Can
No.
you help me out, guys? I lost the bet. What was I
Just to the
thinking?
gate.
Okay, so that was at least.
I am indeed.
What do you,
Basically,
you
from
just
Destiny's
do this every time?
Just every day.
Just
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything. It just basically says it.
Or is that Twitch?
Oh, YouTube.
As it waits the spirit's trouble.
This morning I had like 1,000 views.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy. People from like Australia.
Oh, that's not very charitable.
Really? Just tuning in.
And then I was mocking them. I said, Australia is not a real country. And then at first they were like, no, it's a continent. I was like, yeah, now I definitely fooled you guys. And then I was like, prove to me that Australia is real by telling me what kind of currency do they use. They're like, the Australian dollar. I was like, yeah.
So you chat with them like live and everything? Like
Yeah, just talking to
banter
them.
and whatnot? That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
I had a subscriber the other day give a rider some money because they were in financial hardship. And then the subscriber just asked for their Venmo and then just sent it over.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the most exciting thing that you've had happen on
Now, how's
stream?
that for a fucking bet?
A guy attempted to pull a gun out of me.
He attempted to?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Do you do it for security or for like?
Well, I have that for security, but I do YouTube anyways.
Yeah.
So I was like, why don't I just
Gotcha.
cut the editing part and just everything's live.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to cut the stream because I was
Oh well. Then
saying words to defend myself,
Yeah.
and I was like, that's not YouTube appropriate.
was
So
gonna say, is that
I ended it and deleted it. But as long as this is on, I was like, I don't care.
I suppose it's nice because it is like an added security benefit.
Mhm.
But it's, wow. Yeah, gun is serious.
You might not. I might not think it is. I come to you and I'm like, oh, please. Billy, I gotta give this guy.
Do you do like actual vlogging and like that sort of stuff?
I did. That's how I started. But then I just bought this car a week ago because I own a Tesla, but it needs a new battery.
Gotcha.
So instead of doing a rental, which was $1,200 a month, I was better off just buying a new car. And I was planning on doing it anyways, getting another car,
Yeah.
but not this soon. But I was like, I'll just use this car during the winter and then my Tesla during the summer and like my private rides.
So what do you do on your channel?
Just this.
Oh.
But I do other platforms like open panels, just like locker room talk.
No.
And then my buddy owns Buck's podcast that I hop on here and there. So
Nice.
If I don't understand their position where they're
So where you
coming from,
from?
it's actually impossible.
yeah, born and raised.
Nice. Where do you live? What
Brookfield.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Hey, did you grab those?
It's a nice
Oh,
area.
okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's silly.
it's quiet. That's what I like.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's actually impossible for me to debate if I don't understand the position. In that position, I really didn't understand why he would take it because he's been so adamantly against it in the past. You know what I mean? So I needed to understand it, and it basically just reduced to, well, I think that these are just not. This is
Oh, just left turn.
be considered fascism to Americans, but perhaps not to other people. But I say it because it's very politically effective.
Where you headed to today?
And it meets these two
Phoenix.
criteria.
Amazing.
It's like, well, I guess if that's all
I got
you
a friend there.
plan,
One of us friends. So.
Nice.
I guess I don't care.
Oh, I should have took the lakefront. I didn't realize it was this busy.
I would just bring it that that's not the case at that point. At least know it.
Okay.
Because I can usually take what a person's
Not
ideas are in their
too
head,
big of a deal, but
and then I can at least put myself there.
I think it's only like this
see
till
how they
Beecher.
came to it. Like I can understand
what does it say?
Destiny
Time?
coming up with the false slave electors.
350.
Saying that's authoritarianism,
Oh, yeah.
it's totalitarianism, it's evil. I can at least understand the thought process, right? This is the thought process that leads to it. But I didn't understand the thought process that led to fascism. That I didn't get. Just be, yeah, into meeting Andrew in a debate, just be crazy and never let him know your position so anyone can win. Yeah. Well, I mean, that would do it. If I can't actually figure out what you're saying, it's impossible for me to debate. It's impossible. Andrew hasn't taken enough L's in October. He's trying hard for November. L's galore. You know, you're not going to be saying that. If I got $1,000 on the screen $2 to pay. That's gonna suck. If I gotta raise it to pay him, that's not gonna be fun. But all Trump's gotta win. All he's gotta do is win, right? And then I guess that one. And then if he loses, he's gonna pay out too. Shit. That was the bet, right? He loses.
Yes, I'll change my name to Robot.
He wins. Destiny paid. Or, yeah, I'm sorry. Wait. If he loses, I pay out $2,000. If he wins, he pays out $1,000. That's the odds. That's the correct one. Fucking, what am I stupid on Friday? Can't think. What, Thursday? Stupid on a Thursday. Andrew went all in with Junkie and hopes Destiny falls. We'll see.
We are audio and video recording this ride for your safety.
If Trump or Kamala see another Jason Antifa riot, don't know.
Yeah, Elijah, I use a dash cam and I'm streaming on the newest iPhone
They didn't say it was 2K.
because it has a cinematic view.
Get real.
Instead of paying
Yeah, fucking real.
$900 for a camera and then buying more equipment to go live.
So that might extend.
It's all right here.
Past today into tomorrow, midnight run, which we're definitely not going to do. Halloween.
But I like the dash cam because it's a cloud service. It's not a memory card or anything.
Get up to that 50 for sure. Gotta get up, but we just like we lost it. We lost you. You've gone off the edge. Either way, option A, pay out $2 billion or something versus $6 billion. Pay for hoodies and then hoodies. You are sick. You're sick. We'll see.
Yeah, if you want my other videos, I don't have it on the description live stream, but if you want my other videos, it's called Display Ride, and it turned 20 when you use the but go to my most recent videos, not the live streams, but the videos, and you'll see the link in the description. But nice, you started 2 weeks ago.
Pineapple pizza live. I'll do a stream eating pineapple pizza. Who's this deal? No, that's not a double or nothing. What kind of bullshit is that? Noah sends it out.
Yeah, I agree. I believe the quality of YouTube on the newest iPhone, I think it's automatically 1080. Well, technically 4K, but
When the steaks cook, we
you know what I
Steaks
mean.
cook. By the way, I didn't bring it down here. I got a nicer number. Sarah wants to be she said, life is the I don't know exactly what time he's going to come on. I'm probably going to start at noon as soon as I'm done voting, maybe 1, and then we're just not going to stop until they shut everything down. If we know who the next president of the United States is. Trump will win. His campaign has been crazy. Fight, fight, fight. He has been campaigning like a that's for sure. It's the midnight.
Tuesday's going to be crazy.
It's the midnight. Okay, let me read this card from Sarah. Very nice card. She says, it's really hard because I don't know why, but people still write in handwriting, which just makes things extra difficult to watch. Let me get this straight. You think Kamala is going to win, and now you're commie forcing us into debt. Sure, buddy. You're not a deeply nested saboteur secretly working for the left. What's the bet, Spider? The bet is if Trump wins, I get $1,000. Are you sure that that's sabotage? Better think about that. Better think about that. Astrocat for $5 says on the back of the hoodie, you should have put, I lost to destiny and all I got was this hoodie. Andrew will reach 30 is on yellow, not teal. Oh, shit. Well, I can't do anything about it now. That's terrible. We can't do anything about it now. Sweet. We got to 21 on the other, but glad you're giving up the red. Also, love your work. Oh, and dibs on a hoodie. Yeah, all you fuckers coming in to get yourself a hoodie, talking shit about the bet, coming in to get your fucking hoodie. Vaping is actually worse for you than cigarettes. I have an aunt who's a respiratory therapist, says she'd rather smoke than vape. Yeah, I've heard that a lot from many people. Right? Well, okay, what was the bet? Wasn't it a double or nothing bet? If it's a double or nothing bet, if it's the 2-to-1 odds, then that would mean if Trump wins, I get paid. If Trump loses, he gets paid. That's the bet, stupid. How could that not be the bet? Do we need to rewind it so you can see? That has to be. Great. Gotta pay off the Kremlin Coomer. What's next? Desiree gonna be Brian's pimp? Possibly. Here's the bet. Either way, chap pays, communist trader. Okay, then what's the bet? Joaquin. What's the bet? What is it? Is the costume going to be a surprise? Surprise! Yeah. That's okay. So, are you saying that if Kamala wins, I get $1,000? Is that the case? Well, I still think she's going to win. So, yeah. Yeah, okay. No, you're right. Yeah. Kamala would be 1,000. But if Kamala wins, he gets 2. Wait, no. If Trump wins, he gets 2. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Trump wins. Brains out. Trump wins, he gets 2. That'll be the best $2,000 I ever spent in my life. That'll be the best $2,000 I ever spent in my life. Fuckers trying to confuse me. Andrew openly admits he thinks that Kamala will win. Why would you think that? Please explain. Well, it's pretty simple. Because they're going to cheat. I don't get it. If you know that the racehorse is rigged, why wouldn't you bet on the rigged race? Why wouldn't you do that? Yeah, if Trump wins, that's correct. I'm sorry, I got it backwards. You are right, Tia. If Trump wins, I lose $2,000. Be the best $2,000 I ever spent. Plus, I take a massive L from the chat, which I will deserve. If Kamala Harris takes it, I get $1,000. Which I guess that'll be us coping on Destiny, right? Except me. No more chain smoking, Wilson. What's going to be your new nickname? Well, did you see all the abortionists out there? The election was fair and free. You think Trump would win in a landslide?
Oh yeah, today's the day you stop smoking.
So you're not wearing a costume to be honest, Kamala might win. The indoctrination camps education system has done its job almost to perfection. 2020 proved that. If there was no cheat.
We are audio and video recording this ride for your safety.
Okay, read the letter. I'm going to try to read the letter. It's hard to read because women's writing is atrocious. It says, Andrew and Rachel. In a world full of internet babble, busy streams, and I can't read the next word, we often forget to take the time to appreciate and recognize the generosity of, I can't read that word either. I wanted to take a moment to simply say thank you. You and your willingness to share a screen with my channel has done more for my daughter's health and wellness than you can imagine. Not only did it provide an instant monetary support for her medical needs, but you've also kicked my channel into building a legacy, which I will continue to support from the future as well. The past couple of months could have been much more difficult for me, but you stepped in at the right time and shared your audience with me. For your kindness and willingness to provide, I am very grateful and hope that one day we can pay it forward just the same.
Oh, jeez.
Rating made it. She sent this nice little card. Sent this nice little card. So that was nice. I thought that was nice. Right? What a nice lady. I was surprised. Okay, I was surprised. I was taken aback. However, knowing the duplicitous nature of women, it still has not won me over. But it was still a very nice gesture. Okay, it was still a very nice gesture. Now I understand why Rachel cut your hair like that. It's for Halloween, scary stuff.
All right, so just finished that Lyft reservation. Headed to our next pickup, which is for Uber.
But you still must be guarded. You still must be guarded. Bad handwriting.
So currently we're at $183
Out of practice reading cursive, you know.
and 70 cents for
Still
Uber.
can't trust her, says Trevor. He's like, nah, I still can't trust her, bro. No, he's like, nah, you still can't trust her.
And then for Lyft, we're at $92.55.
Position on a grown man injecting some testosterone.
So we're just under $300. Just under $300.
Why would that be a problem?
And it's barely 4 o'clock. It's quarter to 4.
Orthodox Church is against medical intervention for people feeling better. What do you mean? Why would they be? Why would that even bother them? Why? If you talk to your priest, you're like, hey, Father, you know, my testosterone's a little lower than where it should be. Your priest's gonna be like, oh, well, you should probably take some then. Like, what do you mean? I don't know. Why do you think they would be upset about that exactly? What do you think they're gonna say? No. Not take any testosterone supplements ever. No. Like, what do you think? Do you think orthodoxy is like those weird, you know, those weird sects of Christians who won't ever take their kids to the doctor? They just pray for them. They just pray for them. They're like, well, we're just gonna pray that somebody helps our son. And you're just like, well, somebody can. It's called a doctor. You know, it's called a doctor. We're praying right now that the Lord intervenes. The Lord will intervene right now with an ambulance. You can you can call 911.
Minus $100 in taxes, insurance, wear and tear, mileage. How much you at now? Dude, I don't care about those calculations, man. I don't care about those calculations. I know how much I need per day to pay my bills. And I know when I need new tires. I know when I need an oil change. I don't care about any of that stuff. I don't need to put $5 here, $5 here, $5 there to put aside. I literally just make my money, my $250 to $350, and I pay what's due that day. I don't care about tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't care about
What
tomorrow.
an insane.
I care about right now.
People,
What do I need to pay right now?
And then their kids die and shit. Like, well, I prayed for little.
You guys make this job seem like it's impossible to do.
Gave you doctors. Like, you can take them to a doctor. Send a nice Hallmark card is absolutely a common woman tactic, and I'm not falling for it. It's all her fault, just like how it's all your fault and not Elden Ring's camera's fault. You take the L. How many fucking L's am I going to take this stream? We're not be taking no L's tonight. No L's on Halloween night during the TikTok invasion. No L's. No L's. Not doing it. No way. Not doing it. Hang on. 1 second, I gotta check something here. 1 second. Orthodox priest. Rose, I made a bet with Destiny that Jesus is coming back next year. Bail me out if I'm wrong. If I'm right, though, Destiny will buy your Bibles. The ancient Jedi prophecies were wrong about you, Andrew. Oh, come on. Don't you want your Destiny was wrong hoodie? You want your Destiny was wrong with the crucible emblem on it? We'll make them all custom, and we'll give them away. Destiny was wrong, Andrew was right hoodies. You know you want a Destiny was wrong, Andrew was right hoodie. You know. Except, I guess, in this case, he would have been right, and I would have been right. He would have been right, and I would have been right. But we can still put that he was wrong, right? We can still put that. I mean, it still would be the best $2,000 I ever spent if Trump won. Yeah. Yeah. This isn't Cope. Shut up. Yeah, custom hoodie. I'd buy one as well. Yeah, that'd be good. Do you think it would work to pop a pill every time you went out of frame? You were supposed to bring balance to the force, Andrew. Little too soon to be talking about Christmas with all this noble talk. We're at, what are we at? 14 out of 30? We're almost there for an invasion tonight. You guys know what to do Halloween invasion. I'm gonna get fucking smashed tonight. My goal tonight on Halloween.
So we canceled our Uber pickup because
Yep, I'm gonna be.
this Lyft ride that just came in is $16.
For sure. Because it's Halloween. It's Halloween, baby. You guys seen this quote from Andrew? It's full cognitive dissonance on display. Reality is caught up with Andrew's brain and he can't handle it. Various crazy people for $10 says God did intervene. He made the parents too dumb to take the kids to the doctor, therefore is ending their gene pool because they're too dumb to serve. Oh, dude, that's so brutal. So brutal. 16 to 30, we're close. We're getting there. Shit. We're getting there. Just don't dress up like Destiny. Yeah, I don't plan on it. Don't get drunk is a sin. Getting drunk by in and of itself in a party or a festival is not a sin. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
So we're heading to this Lyft pickup. It's $16. I'll be there in 5 minutes.
That's not what I was referring to. JC gifted, in fact, read Proverbs and learn that the wine is a gift. It's a gift from God. It's literally stated in Proverbs. JC gives 5 Crucible memberships. Appreciate that very much. If Kamala wins, you pay $2K. If Trump wins, you get paid $1K. Yes, that is correct. No, that's incorrect. Sorry. If Kamala wins, I get paid $1K. If Trump wins, I have to pay out $2K. That's how it is. The ownership of the hoodie was an act of destiny. says the word destiny. It'd be fun to hear him tell destiny about all he's foreseen. Look, if they've done it once, they'll do it again, guys. I'm sorry. If they've done it once, they'll do it again. If you know the fix is in, I'm supposed to bet on the person who the fix is in for. My son is dressing up as garbage for Halloween in honor of Biden's comments. I don't think that that's an own on Biden, just so you know, Kelly. I don't think that that's an own on Biden to dress up like garbage. That's like if I called a woman a prostitute and she was like, "Oh yeah," and then went and started fucking men for money like that. I don't think that that would be an own. Right? I'm not sure that that's an own. Been binge watching your debates. Great. And I just told a woman something that she doesn't like, so now it just made an enemy for life. Binge watching your debates. Thanks for the entertainment. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Destiny, can I let you go just because you destroyed him on Jubilee? Oh, it was fun on Jubilee. We didn't really get anywhere. I thought the firefighter thing, I won that exchange. But the fascism thing, neither of us won that exchange because I don't think either of us even understood what the fuck the other one was talking about. Like, what the fuck is going on here? That's why I wanted that clarified. If I do get in a debate with S. Future, which I'm sure I will, I want to know what his positions on these things are so that I understand them. Otherwise, I can't predict, I can't make predictions about what he's going to say before he says it. The garbage Trump supporter, it's funny.
We are 2 minutes away from this pickup.
Watch Destiny, you don't have to. I'm talking. Just talk to him for like an hour. So many Destiny lovers in the comment section. Would you believe that? Well, yeah, he's a massive stream. The Crucible crew can always go over there and take a look too. Doing my part for the crew, says Excel Sensor. Appreciate that. 23 and a 30. We're almost there. And then we will do the I don't care. I still like Andrew, not an enemy. There was this chick. Hang on, let me pull this up. You want to hear some fucking coke? Oh my god, this chick is coping so hard. This chick was. Here, let me pull it up. You gotta listen to this shit. You gotta listen to this chick's cope. It's unbelievable. What's that? Alright. Listen to this fucking chick's cope.
Mechanics, and I
Hang on. Hang on. See if I can find it here. Gonna split? Alright, I'll see you later, man. Robert Demita for $10. Appreciate that. We're pretty close to our goal here. Doing my part for the crew. Appreciate XL Sensors. Very kind of you. Let's, says God's here. Hang on, I'm pulling up her cope. Just hang tight for a second. Hang tight. Some chick from whatever was big time fucking coping. Here we go. Here's the video.
Yeah, good afternoon.
I want to play the video. What's going on here? Fuck, play the video. Try this. Try it a different way.
So I'm 22.
No one cares.
Okay. My sister.
1 second.
logic or his reasoning made sense. The logic did not.
My reasoning made sense. The logic? No. No on the logic. Logic bad. Right? Logic bad. Okay, hang on. We had a series of these come in. So, God tier says, let's. Jeff Bader says, these chats. Get. Like Andrew. This midnight stream. Splits degens. What the fuck? That made no sense. We got over the donut hump though, but it made no sense. Warcraft voice. Job done. Zug zug. Peons in Warcraft. I remember the peons in Warcraft. Job done. The guy just got up and blushing tomato now.
He essentially said that women shouldn't be like because they don't need to be drafted, which, listen, I agree with, okay? If I want to be drafted as a 33-year-old woman, no, absolutely not. I would be the first one to be out of the running, out of the race. Take me out, okay? I'm 110 pounds, soaking wet, 5'4" on a good day. So I would be the easiest target out there. But I do understand that it's like not fair for men to have to suffer the consequences of women who tend to vote with their emotions. Like, let's be fucking honest. Most women are.
Okay, now you guys might be wondering, you might be thinking to yourself, I haven't actually heard this chick say anything she disagrees with. Neither have I.
Very highly emotional being, a very not very logical being, has an average as a standard. So I get like, let's put some grit into the game. If you want to have the ability to vote, you should have to also have the ability to be drafted if needed, regardless of your gender, regardless of your sex. So I agree with that. What I do not agree with is logic that he used as to why women shouldn't have the ability to vote, which was him stating that women would more than likely put on the front line as a whole and be raped.
So, first, that's not the position. This is just
60 to 80 hours, and then Sunday I don't.
Man.
Sundays I do like a half day. Sunday I do like 6 hours.
Clearly not that big of a fan if you've never.
But yeah, 60 to 80 hours.
It's just mirrors this common knowledge.
Starting at 4 a.m.
We all know reason and logic are like water and oil. What are you talking about? So the position is just this, that if women want to be able to vote, then they should have to participate in the draft just like men do. And also they should have to do the same jobs via that draft that men have to do, which would include fighting. That's the position. So what did she say the position is? The position is they need to get drafted, but I don't think they would be put on the front lines. Well, then that immediately is strawmanning my position.
We are audio and video recording this
Which
ride
would
for
then
your safety.
take out full civilizations, because apparently certain groups in World War II threatened to do this. So
No, they didn't threaten to do this. They did it. Look up the R wording of being king. They don't threaten to do it. They do. You can go watch a great movie. It's called The R Wording of Berlin. They literally do it. Yeah, she's talking shit. Well, not about you, just about me. Right? She's saying my argument's bad because she doesn't understand it. But yes, just so all of you who are not complete morons understand, if we used women in the front line like Israel is, for instance, frontline combat operations, the enemies of the nation that we were at war with will capture them or sexually assault them. That's what they will do in order to demoralize the enemy. How do I know this? Well, because I have access to United States war plans that have been declassified for the last 40 years, and they admit that that is the case because they're not stupid.
you say that that's going to happen if we allow them to be drafted. And that logic is completely not fucking logical.
Yes, it's very logical.
There are women who are actively in the military right now, and that's not occurring.
Because they're not fighting in frontline positions. That's why it's not occurring. So if the enemy doesn't have access to capture them and do that to them, they won't. Also, we're not in a professional war with any other nation. And also, even in support roles, women have been captured by the enemy. And guess what they do to them? They give them English muffins and sanitary products and treat them like that's what they do. That's what they don't, they don't at the point where the enemy is armoring your frontline female troops, it's a war zone. Wow, this is incredible. I never would have guessed that that was the case. Really? They will? So you mean my position that during a war that's what they would do is true because, you know, it's a war zone? Wow, this is some stunning counter-argument. Stunning.
But like, war is fucking war. If you want people to vote, like that's great game, man, great the fucking game. But for me, it was the fear mongering that he pushed.
Yes, the fear mongering that I pushed by pointing out a thing which is fundamentally unfair, that women can vote, that men go to war, and that men have to do fighting on the front lines when they lose their life, and that I think that if women want the ability to go hard in the interest of social justice, they would demand that they be drafted to set warfare as well. That's fear mongering somewhere.
That's why he didn't want them to vote. And the simple problem with that is that there is a small slice of individuals who will not vote for Donald Trump because they're worried about the rights being taken away. And
Yeah, the right to have an abortion.
and like 99.99999% of us agree with Donald Trump, and we do not want to take away individual rights.
Yes, we do. We want to take away the right to abortion and the right to pornography. We want to take away the right to both of those things. What are you talking about?
And neither does Donald Trump. So for me, it was
Yeah, I know. It's the least endearing part of his platform.
much more about the fact that he's using Donald Trump's name in order to push this fear-mongering mentality, which I did not agree with. And
What the fuck did I use Donald Trump's name to push anything? Just said I'm voting for the guy.
I really thought about speaking up about it during the actual conference.
Well, she was thinking about speaking up about it, but then she decided, of course, not to speak up about it. Let's see what her reasoning is.
At that point, we'd already been 7 hours in. We all stuck in traffic when I was making the first she heard about and at a point that I had really wanted to participate in the conversation was when I got to like the political side of things, specifically surrounding that and I almost spoke up, but y'all have to understand, like, by that point, we were already 7 hours into
7 hours.
conversation, like 6 to 7 hours of the conversation. I was super dehydrated, I was hungry as fuck. I hadn't spoken like
So this again, like private food, private water. He was basically a prisoner. Being deprived of food or water, everything else that she wasn't deprived of.
3 hours. My last conversation with Andrew was about how he said that I should be bowing to my husband, and I'm like, like it was very clear, and like any
Total mischaracterization. But okay. I don't ever make the should claim. I just ask why you.
person who tried to have a conversation with him, like an actual genuine conversation with him, even if they agreed with him on everything, the dude just wanted to argue for the fucking sake of arguing.
Great. I'm sure that there should be endless examples of that. Women who are agreeing. I'd love to see an example of that.
And
No, that was me. Yeah, that was you who said that they should not. Right? But again, I'm the bad guy. So.
you're seeing all these women being treated by this man, and him not even agreeing with any of them, even when they agreed with him.
They didn't agree with me on anything. They were berated. Anytime you use disagreement, that's a berating. Anytime. Doesn't matter what. Doesn't matter what it is you're talking about. No, that doesn't make any sense. You're incorrect, and here's why. That's berating.
On certain topics, like by that point, you already know that you're not talking to somebody who's ever going to have a civilized conversation. So it wasn't worth me speaking up and saying,
I see. So she didn't want to argue with me because she wasn't worth it, I guess. It's only worth it to argue with me after the show is over when I'm not there to defend any of my positions. Wow. So stunning and brave. These incredibly brave women. Incredibly brave women. of this movie was an act. Sorry, I already read that. Thank you guys for those big hundo super chats.
And you, an hour prior, Andrew Wilson, had stated, like, how important November 5th was because the election, like, we needed to make sure that Kamala Harris, like, didn't get voted in. And I agree with you, bro. I agree with him entirely on that. So for him to say that, and then an hour later said, well, she doesn't feel willing to vote, like, there is an insinuation there that's made, and people are going to assume that there's a group of people that support Donald Trump that want this to occur. And
boy, that's now talk about a logical leap. So essentially, I can't have any positions which are external to a Donald Trump position, because if I do, and I'm also going to be voting for Trump, then people will associate that this is Trump's position. Wow, what a fucking great argument. So it's guilt by association.
well, I mean, clearly there is a small group. It's such a small, tiny fraction of people. To me, it just wasn't worth arguing. It would have been like arguing with a fucking brick wall by that point. And I had already watched all
Because she would have lost.
these women be fucking berated, and I was
Yeah, I would like to hear one woman who was berated. So she's, imagine saying this too, right? She says, oh, these women were berated. Tune into part 2 of my video where I talk about how crazy the women were that I was in the podcast with. So she's about to do a part 2 where she berates a bunch of fucking women. So she's about to do a part 2 where she berates a ton of fucking women. When she does it, I guess it's fine because they're not around. I don't know. I
was tired. My back hurt. I had a fucking piss like a racehorse. And I had already been told numerous times, like, oh, you say that you're a professional yapper on TikTok, you haven't fucking said 2 words. So I was like, I'm not gonna get anything on this podcast. There's nothing of value for me to say. Again.
Well, yeah, especially if you don't ever say anything.
A lot of the topics in the conversation were regarding.
We are audio and video recording this ride for your safety.
If I
She went on a dating podcast to talk about politics.
I will do a part 2, maybe I'll answer more questions along these lines, but I had already not spoken up a lot about it, and I wish that I would have spoken up at that point because it was a topic that I was really interested in, but it was about modern dating podcasts, modern relationship podcasts.
Fucking wild. Just wild. My TikTok invasion strategy pro Kamala because she has good economic policy, did a reversible economic strategy. Bill got into office with Chloe and she gave Chloe to get into office. Yeah, I think that we're going to have a fun one.
Yeah, so anytime that the conversation swayed away from modern dating, I would kind of roll back in because obviously like, that's not really the conversation. But when it got interesting and when it got to the point where like, I wanted to participate, I couldn't because there was no reason for it. But regardless.
Okay, so when it got to her and she was able to talk as much as she wanted, she chose not to participate because she couldn't. Even though she could, she just chose not to. I have the problem with reason. Andrew Wilson equals meanie head, uncivilized, illogical monster, worst of all, woman berater.
To get back to
That's like a Mortal Kombat name, huh? You know what I mean? Scorpion versus berate.
it was fear-mongering. It was fear-mongering to the extreme. And while I agree that women should have the ability to be drafted, I agree with him on that. It just, the logic behind it doesn't make sense, and I don't stand up for it. Nobody who's in Donald Trump's party stands up for it. The Republicans don't stand up for it, and it's the extremist mentality that is going to be the end of both sides. And at this point in the fucking election, it was not smart for him to ever say that on a podcast that gets it on a small short end 200, 300,000 views on YouTube.
Oh, I see. So it's my fault, right? I'm not allowed to tell people what I think or what thoughts are in my head, because after all, it may influence them to actually think about certain things that she doesn't want you to think about. It's like, oh, okay. By the way, I assure you that way more people are going to be voting for Donald Trump because of my endorsement of Donald Trump than are ever going to vote for Trump because of your endorsement of Donald Trump. So I just want to point this out.
And millions of views on TikTok.
Boy, talk about a fucking post stream. So, you might wonder, how did this end? What's the resolution to all of this? I went to her TikTok page and I left in the comment, okay, if you like you were not able to express yourself properly, what do you say instead of 7 hours, we just do a straight 2-hour debate on this topic? right? Her response to that was, ha ha ha, this isn't Andrew's real account. Now, you might think, Andrew, you're full of shit. That can't be true, right? That can't be true, okay? Right? It is true. I'm going to show it to you right now. Okay? You see on the right here? That's Andrew. I say, how about we just do a 2-hour debate on this instead? What does she say, you wonder? What does she say? She says, ha ha, laugh out loud, ha ha ha, that's not even his real account. Her reasoning for why it wasn't my real account is because it only has 5,000 followers because I don't use fucking TikTok. So then I respond and say, no, it's my real account. You can confirm it by sending me a DM on X at PaleoChristCon, and I will respond to you. Right? Nothing. Nothing. No response whatsoever. Right? Yeah. So she sees you. She sees me as a larger-than-life creator with a massive following. Right? So she couldn't possibly believe that I only have 5,000 followers on TikTok. She doesn't know what I use the TikTok account for, that's why. Right? So the only thing she could come up with was, ha ha ha, that's not your real account. Even though it has 20 likes on the comment and I confirmed it's my real account. And I'll confirm right now, again, right now, live, that it's my real account. That I'm definitely posting from an account that I authorized to post that. So, anyway. Yeah. As you can see, the logic woman, and then all the things in her is like, you're straw manning his position, debate him. This is pure straw man. Then I posted this on Twitter. It said, let's debate on Twitter. Nothing.
Yeah, enjoy your evening.
Nothing. As a professional berator.
No, that's right. It's a very windy outside.
Chance to clarify my heavily straw man positions.
All right. So that was a $16 drop off.
Talking massive amounts
$16.16 to exact.
Somebody is way easier than actually just.
Well, you're at
for instance,
108.71 on Lyft, and on Uber we are at 183.
Now I could have bitched and moaned.
So that's 290.
Or I could have done what I did, which is text Destiny and say, hey man, can we just chat about this position so that I understand it? And he was like, yeah, sure. And so I just went and chatted with him about it so I knew what his fucking position was. So you could do it that way, or you can whine and complain when the person's not around and straw man their position. I guess it's up to you. Seems like she has a bad case of ear whistling. Yeah, Andrew the Defiler Wilson fatality is war crime. Fatality. In fairness, she convinced me more than you have that women should not vote. Well, then she's doing her job, you know? She's doing her job. Crazy. Now, I know it's insane in modernity to just go actually talk to the people that you have issues with in order to sort them out. That, how dare I just ask Destiny, for instance, what his fucking position on the thing is so I can figure it out, right? But, just so you know, men usually do this. If we're confused about what another man thinks about something, generally speaking, we just fucking ask them. I'm confused, everyone can have an opinion. But wait, you can't have an opinion. Wait, only certain people can have opinion, but if different, you're wrong. Yeah, it's fucking wild. Wild. Wow, I didn't know I was watching the guy who could single-handedly change an election. Please use your powers for good. Yes, use them for good.
$3. Get the fuck out of here. You better not give it to me, Lyft.
Or the dark side. The dark side. How dare you, Andrew? How dare you? How dare you?
Can't believe someone accepted that. $3. $3 trip. That's insane.
Not one step back, though. No, not one step back. Today I may have entered into a verbal agreement verbal agreement to, as they say, put your money where your mouth is. And so did Destiny. It's nice sometimes to just have those kinds of friendly exchanges, even with the enemy on the ground. They know it. I know it. We all know it. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. This was sent over to me via Twitter. Somebody DM'd it to me. I didn't know who the fuck she was. I know. I didn't know. I was like, who the fuck is this chick and why do I care? I didn't know. I didn't know who she was. Does that make me a bad person? I didn't know who she was.
Right now we're in the middle of the not so good area, so I'm trying to get out of here before I turn on Uber. Lyft is on, but I could be as selective as I want, because I could see upfront details. But Uber I cannot.
Maybe I am a fucking Uber. I didn't know. Maybe I am a bad person. I didn't remember who the fuck she was. It's like that with Brian. Brian has to remind me. He's like, yeah, such and such wants to, discuss blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, who the fuck is that? Who's that? I don't know who that is. Yeah, Jubilee was fun. It was just not productive. It was fun, it just wasn't productive. I've been berated by your fear-mongering to support this stream. Yeah.
We are audio and video recording this ride for your safety.
What is the deal with all the creators dressing up like women anyway? This is so weird to me, dude. I ain't doing that shit. Never. You're never gonna bribe me. One more day. One more. One more.
So I'm gonna end this live, guys, and then start a new one, because this will be my last hour and a half. So it's about to be 4:30. So I'll do an hour and a half of this last part of the stream, and that'll be it for today. So stay tuned for the next stream.